Hi bumblebees, and welcome to today's session on how to create a vegetable garden. I'm Suraj and I'm the Chief Executive Gardener at Herbivore Garden Center. There is no better time to start up your own vegetable garden. I mean, at this time, with all the kids at home, this is a perfect activity to get them down, get their hands dirty, and actually teach them a lot in terms of how to grow your own food, how to be responsible. They'll have a daily activity to come, take care of their vegetables, water them, eventually nurture them to the point of harvesting where they can actually go enjoy the cooking in the kitchen. So, I'm a permaculture designer and we do a lot of edible landscaping. And we're going to use a lot of permaculture techniques on how we're going to set up our vegetable garden here today. So, what we have done is, we have basically created a little vegetable patch here where we have segregated the planting areas and the footpaths separately. This is very critical so that we don't actually step onto the planting area. So before we plant our Herbivore stay-at-home vegetable kit, we need to prepare the perfect soil for our gardens. As a permaculture designer, we look at Mother Nature for inspirations on how to create the perfect soil. And there's no better example than the forest soil. So we can replicate the soil in the forest right here in our gardens by doing exactly what happens in the forest. So if you take a look at a typical forest, there's leaves dropping, twigs, trees falling down, animal droppings, and the list goes on and on. We can replicate the same thing that happens over 50 to 100 years in less than a week in our gardens. And that's exactly what we have done here. So while we have dug up this soil, we have added in there leaves, sticks, twigs, manure, and a lot of other organic matter to replicate what happens in the forest soil. That is really important because that actually creates the home for the underground economy. That are millions and millions of creepy crawlies from worms, anthropes, bacteria, fungi, who all go out and about, eat each other, creating air holes and creating nutrients for the plants. That is what makes the soil alive. Secondly, there is no one going in the forest and digging up the soil. We're going to work on a principle of no dig here as well. No dig is really important because the minute we start digging our soils, we're going to disrupt the whole system that we have created here. Now that we've replicated the forest floor in our gardens, it's time to create our beds. So it's very crucial to remember that when you're creating your beds, always to separate the planting area and the footpaths to make sure that you never step on the planting bed. So there are two rules that we're going to be doing. Number one is we're not going to be digging the soil after we've initially prepared it. And secondly, we're not going to be stepping on the planting bed. So what we have here are 4 beds which are 2 meters long and 1 meter wide with 4 footpaths in between. Which means that when I'm here, I can harvest equally from this side and that side as well without needing to step onto the planting area. And the same goes for this other side as well. I'll easily be able to plant, harvest and take care of my plants on either side without actually disturbing the planting area. Remember, this is where we have all the creepy crawlies, all the worms, all the anthropes, all the bacteria thriving here. This is the part we need to preserve and protect as they will be making your soil alive, which in return will feed your plants. Now that we've prepared up our permaculture planting beds, we are ready to plant up. And we're going to be using a planting strategy called companion planting. Companion planting is planting 2 or more plants together which result in a wide range of benefits for each other. The benefits include improving the flavor of the crops, repelling unwanted pests, attracting beneficial insects and pests to your garden, as well as increasing the soil fertility. So before we get down to our companion planting, I'd like to talk a bit about mulch. Mulch is very important for your garden beds. Mulch consists of dried leaves or grass, and you basically layer it up about ½ an inch thick on all the beds. Mulch is really important because it's going to help protect your baby seedling plants from the excessive rain, as well as ensure that there's enough moisture left in the soil on a hot, sunny day. What will happen with mulch is eventually over time, this is going to decompose into compost. Thus, it will add on compost for yourself, and all you need to do is replace the mulch every year. So when we plant up tomatoes, we always plant them with 4 to 5 companion plants, which are always basil, onions, marigold, and parsley. Basil is really important as it helps repel aphids. Onions are really important as they help repel red spider mites, and marigold is really important as it helps repel nematodes. With all these put together, you can see what kind of amazing protection your tomato plants in the middle will have. Let's get down to planting. So before we plant up, I'd like to talk a bit about the other stuff that you get at the Herbivore Stay-at-Home Gardening Kit, which is your 15-litre bucket of Herbivore Grade AA leaf compost and a organic starter kit from Organics. So the Organic Starter Kit comes with 4 very amazing and useful organic inputs for your vegetable garden, which I'm just removing out at the moment. So what we get in the kit is a chook, which is a really good organic pesticide and fungicide, which is made from neem oil. There's Enhance, which is a really amazing seaweed-based foliar spray, which is really good once we've transplanted all the seedlings, as it helps the roots really develop well. And then we get 2 packets of Usly and Earthly, which will actually help add more benefits to the compost. Usly is a compost made from turmeric, neem, and lots of other benefits, which also help attack a lot of soil-borne diseases. Humate is a humus powder, which is found about 1 to 2% in our compost naturally, and adding these 2 together will really ensure we have a nice base for our plants to get a healthy start. So let's mix them all together. So when we're ready to plant up, we've mixed up our Earthly, Usly, and our leaf compost together. All you need to do is basically dig a hole out the size of the planting pot, make it a little bit deeper, and add a hand scoop of your compost mix in there, and slowly loosen up the pot and just let the seedlings come out and transplant them straight into the hole you've just created. Make sure you push it down a bit so they sit in well and they're all nice and firm. So now that we've finished planting our vegetable beds using companion strategy, all that's left to do is water it and take care of it on a daily basis. Let the kids come out, enjoy, water it. Very soon, a lot of this will be ready for harvest. A lot of the herbs can be harvested immediately, while some of the vegetables will take anywhere from 60 to 90 days to harvest. Thank you very much for watching Bumblebees, and enjoy the gardening.